Hello guys, this is Nathan, and this is my latest LEGO creation, and I simply like to call it the Cyberpunk apartment. So, I was bored, and I wanted to do something cyberpunk, and I also wanted to do something rather small and quick. So, I just decided to run through some different color combinations, and I ended up with white and red. So, I ended up designing this apartment that was going to be half red and half white, but then I kept modifying it, and I ended up with this, and it's kind of based on the LEGO Marvel Superhero Daily Bugle kind of style buildings where you have a plate that's 16 by 8 studs, and that's kind of just where I started building everything. Of course, the base is wider, but I just decided to add that later to add kind of a sidewalk or alleyway kind of feel to it and some details. But I think that for the size of this creation, I did manage to pack in a lot of details, which we will be going through. So I think we should first start at the base. So as you can see, it's kind of a very gritty kind of alleyway vibe to it, and it has these graffiti parts which I just ordered off of Bricklink. They're actually stickers from the LEGO Ninja Turtles base, and I think it's called Layer Invasion or something. I don't really remember the name. I'm not a big fan of Ninja Turtles. However, it has multiple trash cans and this kind of modern street light style. And up here it has an air conditioning, a windowsill, as well as a glass window which can open up. So in the front it has a manhole, as well as some small windows and some vines growing up the walls, as well as some masonry bricks. And down here it has its electric meter, and inside of this kind of little, in this area under the stairs, it has, let me see if I can get my camera in there, it's so dark. It has a tiny little pond with a lily pad, which uses one of those kind of like, those new recolored parts from the Ninjago city. They're just great, so I got a few off Bricklink, and I'm kind of using them as lily pads. So I also have this old streetlight kind of style here, and obviously, although this is cyberpunk and is meant to be in the future, this building was probably built upon an older city, so it does have some older elements to it. It also has this black staircase, which I really like how I pulled it off. It doesn't use any of LEGO's official staircase pieces. They're just kind of brick built, but they go up to the second floor, and on the back here is a cherry tree. So I used a lot of different designs for the cherry tree. I used some Technic for the trunk, as well as a lot of styles that were used in the Ninjago LEGO City set. You can check those out. Just download the Ninjago City instructions. It's very useful, and it can give you a lot of ideas. And as you can see, it's kind of growing from this kind of like thing back here under the stairs. I'm not really sure what that is, but it has a lid, and it also has a pipe sticking out. So basically you can imagine that this is some sort of a sewer or some dishwater that just comes out of that pipe and started pouring onto the ground, and that's where the cherry tree grew from. And it also has some exposed roots back there, as well as this other technique which is also used in LEGO Ninjago, which is basically some sort of a pipe with a vine growing out of it. So I really like that, and I was glad I was able to incorporate it in here. Then on the back here, it has kind of this free hanging pipe. So as you can see, it moves back and forth, and that's because the way I built it, the height didn't really line up with everything else, so I kind of just had it free hanging there with a friction peg. But if you just don't touch it, I think it looks great. So in this room, it's one of the most interesting parts of the whole MOC. It's a laundry room, and basically you have two washing machines. The style for using the lifesaver for the little round part in front is actually, I think it's from one of the LEGO Creator Expert modular buildings. I'm not sure on that, but I'm pretty sure that's where it's from. Then, as you can see, one of them has the lid open, and the other one has it closed. And I don't remember where the stickers are from, but the 1x1 sticker is from the backpack on the new LEGO Stormtroopers. Pardon me, Snow Troopers. And I'm referring to the ones that were created back in a few years ago when they released the new AT-AT Walker, as well as I think a new Haas set. They have so many Haas sets, I just lost track. And on the roof here you have a fan to keep the air cool in here and to keep things circulating. And you also have a laundry basket as well as a little kind of shampoo or like laundry soap in the back. Not shampoo, but then on this side you have a turbine to keep the air coming in, and a little generator there with a warning sign and an oil bucket in the back. And the reason I use this very old gray piece over here is because I was going for a very interesting texture, and as you can see it has kind of a turbine lid on the back which looks very interesting, and I'm not sure if LEGO still uses that piece or if they have it in light bluish and dark bluish gray, but this is the one I had, so I just used that. Plus using the old dark gray kind of adds texture and detail to your things. So now let's take a look at the interior. So in the interior you can see that it has a very kind of rock kind of vibe to it, and you can see your rock fan right there, kind of like punk female, and she has an electric guitar and that torso piece which came in the Skater Girl from one of the early minifigure series. Then I switched out the arms for flesh color, and the head was actually a last minute decision because originally I was going to use another head, but it just showed too much emotion, kind of like it was too happy, if you will, which is a problem with a lot of LEGO's licensed theme kind of skin colored minifigures. They show either emotions, either they're too angry or they're too happy. So I just wanted to go for something more plain, so I ended up using the Princess Leia headpiece from one of the old sets. Not headpiece, but face. Then over here you see a little kitchen with a pizza and a coffee maker machine and a little stool, as well as a sink and a place to hang your frying pans from, and a little donut or pastry in the bottom there, the counter. It also has a clock, as well as this little bookshelf over here. Whoops, I'm having some focusing problems. A little bookshelf back there with some posters from the LEGO Ninjago city set. That's about it for the interior. As you can see, there's an air conditioning unit up there, as well as this cable that goes all the way up to the top, which I'll show you in a minute. But then it has the little mat there, the welcome mat, and that's about it for the interior. Now let's move on to the roof. So the roof is very interesting in itself. It has a lot of details which I'll go through, and one of them is this kind of like internet satellite antenna here, which is on a ball joint, so it can be adjusted wherever you want. Then this little shack over here, which lets you get access to the roof, has a bunch of silver, let me angle that towards the light, has a bunch of silver grills, which I think looks great. Originally I was just going to use tiles, but I just wanted to keep challenging my creativity with the set, or with the MOC. And I just started using different kind of shades of silver. I have the pearl silver and then the chrome silver. So down here we have the railing with a bunch of stuff packed into it. You have a poster, you have a bottle, you have a surfboard as well as a broom, and they just keep throwing stuff there that they're not going to use. And on this side we have a little table, which we'll take a look at from the back, but I just want to point out this kind of satellite dish here, which can be angled, and it has a cable that spirals down, and that's pretty simple. Then up here we have the table with a phone, a mug, and it has a table fan, which I really like, the kind of small mini build I came up with. As you can see, it's an old style of table fan. It just sits on there with one stud, and it also has a bucket as well as this brown, I'm having trouble with the lighting here, it's sort of a brown wooden tray with a few plants on it. You can imagine that they're trying to like plant flowers or something. And then you have this small chair which kind of swivels around. Then up here we have this door with a light, and this door actually opens, which as I've noticed with a lot of Lego buildings, when they're doing some sort of an access shack on top of the roof, they make it too small, or the door is very small and a minifigure doesn't just fit through it. But with this one, I wanted to make it full size, so a minifigure does fit in there, and if I can get a proper lighting in there, it does have a little, it's so dark, but it does have a little table with kind of like a little flower pot on the side and a green plant. And then, of course, out here you have a little doormat and some sort of a can or a water purifier or whatever you want to call it, some sort of futuristic tech. And that's about it for the roof. Now we're going to move on to the front porch. So this front porch is just clipped on with Lego Technic pieces. It just pops out, as you can see. That's my favorite technique for doing an overhang. I just use those kind of 2x2 plates with the Technic hole, on one side. It's very sturdy, and it just allows you to attach a lot of stuff on there. And this is the second minifigure in this creation, and he has a strawberry ice cream cone. As you can see, he's very unique. He has a mohawk as well as a leather jacket. And that face, I'm not really sure where it came from. I thought it was from Star Wars. It might be, but I'm not really sure. So if any of you know what that face came in the comments, just let me know. I was trying to look for it, but I couldn't. I thought it was Obi-Wan's old face from Revenge of the Sith, but apparently it's not. You guys probably know where it's from, but I don't. I found it in a garage sale, so it's not like Bricklink where I could just check where it came from. When I built him, I was going for a hipster style, but I kind of ended up with like a punk, kind of more rock style. But I'm glad with how he turned out. He looks unique and different from the minifigures I normally do. Then over here we have this flower pot, which is one of the most interesting parts of the entire building, because originally I was trying to fit the flower pot onto the balcony, and that was just too simple, too normal, and just too plain. So I decided to challenge myself and make kind of a frame with these black pieces. You can imagine that they used some sort of a bunch of black pipes and just welded them together to make that interesting flower pot holder. It's kind of loose, but it's not going to fall off. And it has a little lamp there. You can imagine some sort of just aesthetic light to make it look prettier. But it really does look cyberpunk, especially with the black pipe kind of style. But that's about it. I think that it's a small creation, but for what it is and for the size I was going for, I think I did a great job. Of course, based off of the things I've done in the past. It is rather simple, but like I said, I wasn't going to spend or invest a lot of time into this creation because it was just for fun, and I just wanted something to make that was colorful. I am happy with how bright and colorful it turned out to be. I'm glad I used red, white, and a bunch of pink for the tree, as well as the green. It just adds kind of life to the whole thing. But that's about it. So let me know what you guys think. Also, I don't know if you noticed, but I am using a new backdrop, which I'm still trying to get used to, and I had to do a little magic to keep it from falling apart on me while I was recording the video. I do have a black backdrop, but this is actually the second time I record this video. I started with the black backdrop and I was having lighting problems, and it didn't really work out, but I will keep on improving as I go along, so expect to see better quality videos in the future. So that's about it. Let me know what you guys think of my cyberpunk apartment, and I'll be seeing you in my next video. Have a great day or night wherever you're from, and I guess that's it. Bye.